Hello there, Kansas City. Stephen St. John here with a brand new episode of Hot Mic with SSJ, brought to you by our good friend Patrick Carter, KCFarmersAgent.com. He is here to help you complete your insurance picture. He's local. He's knowledgeable. If you ask him for directions around Kansas City, he'll tell you where to go. He's like Google Maps around here. And he will give you the personal service that you crave. Nobody wants to make a claim if you've had something happen and oh no, I got to deal with insurance. You're like excited, like, oh boy, I get to deal with my insurance man because it's Patrick Carter, KCFarmersAgent.com. That's what he puts the excitement back in insurance. Thank you, Patrick, and thank you for being a loyal supporter of Hot Mic with SSJ. And here we have my Prairie Home companion, Mr. Todd Leabo.
Yeah. How you doing?
With us. We're gonna pretend this is radio back in the 40s and just have, I don't know.
Hello,
some fun.
you.
Right. Yeah. So we've got lots to talk about. And I know throughout this podcast, we've discussed one of our favorite shows, Succession, quite a bit. Now Succession is no more. It's over, and I'm very sad. But a couple of days before the finale.
How was Sunday night for you with no Succession? Was it empty?
I was drinking peach bellinis at the Italian festival.
That was all right.
So came home and
Did you go deep Sunday night?
no, it ended at 5. So I was home at 5, and I came home and took a nap. I had to sleep that off, and then got up. And I will let you know that we've now started Better Call Saul.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm
Did
really.
you watch El Camino?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Did you like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun.
I like how they provided him a passage to a life in Alaska.
Yes.
And I'd like to think that he got the money to Mike's granddaughter. Do you think he did?
I hope so.
Okay, that's what I want to believe. And so now we've started Better Call Saul, and I'm don't get mad.
I'm not mad.
But we're like in episode 8 already. Mm-hmm. But like the first couple of episodes, old grandpa over here kept nodding off.
It's a slower show.
It was just getting. I wasn't really enjoying. Like he's still not Saul Goodman yet, and I don't like it.
Right.
But guess what I liked?
You like when
we got into
rolls over the door.
The best episode now that's got me in is now to where Mike, his origin story,
right?
And we just went through the episode about his son and about Mike killing the 2 cops that killed his son.
Yeah.
Now I'm fucking on the edge of my seat for that whole deal.
Yes.
And I kind of just want this.
You like Mike?
Will there be a lot of Mike?
The Mike's in the whole thing.
I love Mike.
Because this thing, Mike's in Breaking Bad.
Go back, and one of these shows we need to investigate all of the movies he was a bad guy or a cop or just a henchman or whatever in the 80s and 90s. He was in a million fucking movies.
Just for a sec here and
He's
there.
a great actor.
Yeah, for sure.
He's terrific. That scene when he was sitting talking to his daughter-in-law, right, when he finally tells her what happened because she thought that Maddie was dirty, and he didn't want her to think that, her husband was a dirty cop, and him in there telling the story of what happened, admitted he was the one that was dirty, and he crushed his son's, he broke his son, right? Oh, I mean, fuck, what a great
His
great
little, soliloquies or speeches are always great. One of my favorite ones in Breaking Bad is when he's sitting there telling the story about half measures, and, they had found the guy was beating up the lady,
right?
And he was going to get that when he's just sitting there telling.
That's
great.
So you're proud of me?
Yeah,
I'm moving forward
because I need something now. I don't have. Sunday night was empty for me. I mean, basketball was on, so that was fine. But Barry's over, and Succession's.
Are you
going
to watch The Idol? This thing with The Weeknd and Johnny Depp's daughter.
That doesn't sound appealing to me.
They say there is so much sex and nudity in the first episode, just in the first couple of episodes, that it's almost soft porn, which means I'll be watching. No, I mean she
Will you
is
be
like
Keith Hernandez batting stance advice.
But like, you know how there were some scenes, and I mean, like Wolf of Wall Street had a lot of fucking a lot of different stuff. But they said like she's naked like the whole pilot, and there are people, of course, drumming up interest in it, debating whether it's just exploitation. But the series is supposed to be about exploitation, and some people say it's loosely based on like Britney Spears, and The Weeknd is what it looks.
Maybe I'll watch.
I'm gonna dip my toe in the water.
Dip your toe. I did roll through all of I Think You Should Leave with Tim Robinson.
Good?
I don't think it's as good as the first couple of seasons of it, but there are some funny moments in it. That show is, you have to have the right kind of attitude to watch it, and I have that attitude with Tim Robinson. He cracks me up. But those are 15 minutes long, and you can watch them all. They drop them all on Netflix. So I need a project. That's what I need.
Do you watch Jack Ryan?
I've watched some of it, but I still had a hard time getting over this Jim from The Office.
Oh, he's good.
I know he's good. I watched the first season. There's like 5 seasons of that, though, right?
No, it's like 3.
Is that all it is?
But there's one more. The final season's coming back.
Are they making another Reacher?
They should. I hope so. That was really good. Not the movie with fucking Tom Cruise.
The show.
The show was Amazon Prime.
Prime.
I don't remember. I can't remember which.
I did start watching a documentary that's I think a year old on HBO this weekend about the Hillsong Ministries, which was wild. And then my wife wants to. There's a brand new thing about the dark side of the Duggars that's on Prime.
Oh, I heard that's fucked up.
Yeah.
And there was one. So I was looking for different, like I like docuseries or whatever. There's one. I said I almost started to watch it, but then I said, you know what? It will repulse me, and I'm not going to watch it. But then I might, but I don't think so. You tell me. It's a fucking documentary about Jared from Subway.
I've watched the first episode.
Oh fuck! Is it fucking bad?
It's not great. I've only watched the first episode.
I don't think I can stomach that.
Yeah.
I hate that fucking guy so much. I hate him. I hated him before all this shit because we had him as a guest back on 97.3 The Planet, and I didn't even want to fucking have him as a guest. Like I don't know. I never got like fuck him. I don't want to.
The guy. I
don't want to interview him.
The guy lost weight, and you think that's bad?
He was an asshole.
Yes.
Okay. I had heard things right about just him being a prick to deal with, and so we had him on the show to promote an appearance.
Person?
No,
phone?
on the phone. And guess what? He was a fucking asshole. And that's all I got to say about it. I mean, I don't know, but
part of this story begins when he was a radio guest on something.
Was he a fucking asshole?
Well, he ended up trying to molest this lady's kids. So,
well, okay, but I don't.
Because you made it out better than that.
I don't know that I could stomach that. Yeah, is it that bad? I mean,
it's creepy, bad stuff because it's about pedophilia.
Right.
So yeah, that's part. Well, I watched one episode of it.
Okay, can I give you some things that you can watch?
Yes.
I'm here for you to help you.
Give me some notes.
In June, here are the series that are returning, series that I like, that I'm caught up on, that I'd like to offer you, okay? June 18th, can I interest you in the new season of The Righteous Gemstones?
Oh, yes. I love the Gemstones.
I can't even say the fucking title of the show without laughing.
Cracks me up.
It's fantastic.
It's wonderful.
Who's your favorite character on The Righteous Gemstones?
Uncle Baby Billy.
It has to be.
Uncle Baby Billy.
Uncle Baby Billy, right? Uncle Baby Billy is fantastic. But see, it's like you have a good show when you don't know who your favorite character is because there's so many that are great.
Uncle Baby Billy's so good though. It's good. I need to go back and rewatch the last year leading up to the thing,
and that's a treat
to refresh.
So does that excite you?
Yes, I'll watch that.
Now I don't remember if I got you on this one. Season 2 of The Bear.
Oh yeah, absolutely love
June 22nd.
June 22nd.
June 22nd. There we got 2.
We can binge those right
now. Yeah.
No. Hulu drops once a week. Yeah. Good. I love The Bear.
So I've got your third one. You have time now.
Yes.
June 30th, the final season of Jack Ryan premieres.
I can catch up.
Okay. And so that's on Prime. So that's June 30th. And then after that, I'm trying to look ahead.
Well, then it's football season. So.
Well, yeah. This is Jake tried to get me to watch this, and I feel like I'm going to go back and watch Justified.
He loves Justified. That's Uncle Baby Billy. I've watched some of it, but it was on at the time. It was on. It's an FX show, I think, and it wasn't on my cable. There was some, whatever it was not on there. And then it was not on a streaming service. Is it somewhere now?
I don't know. July 18th, it returned the new season on FX.
They're bringing Justified back?
Justified, City, Primeval. I mean, I don't know anything about.
Is Uncle Baby Billy in it?
Maybe.
Because Uncle Baby Billy is the dude in Justified. What's that dude's name?
Walter
Goggins.
Yeah. Walter Goggins.
He had a very funny, I thought, sitcom on for a while on CBS called The Unicorn, where he was a widower, and he didn't want to date people. And he's a fucking funny guy.
What about Vice Principals?
I didn't think that hit as well. I liked parts of it.
There was one line in that that I enjoy that I repeat many times, much to my wife's dismay. It's when he said, "Make your move, motherfucker."
It was a funny show. The premise was great, and I like Danny McBride and Walter Goggins. It wasn't.
But it doesn't hold a candle to the Righteous Gemstones.
No.
But I've given that's pretty good in the month of June.
I'm good.
Righteous Gemstones, The Bear, and just I had the same thing. Now remember, see, you're doing what I used to do to piss you off. I didn't want to watch Breaking Bad,
right? Because you didn't.
Because I had typecast Bryan Cranston, and I was wrong. He's fantastic.
I'll watch Jack Ryan.
You're typecasting John Krasinski.
I'm gonna watch it,
and he's buff.
It's gross. My wife won't watch it, so I can watch that when she goes to sleep. She didn't like people getting killed.
He's thick.
Yeah, I watched
THICC.
The pilot was plenty of deaths. So
it's good.
Yeah, my wife won't watch that, so I can watch that while she sleeps.
It is it is. Oh, let me see. I think it's fair to say it's not as heavy as Homeland,
right? And
it's not as popcorn arcade-ish as 24.
It's a good mix.
It's a good mix where there's some sense of humor. John Krasinski and Wendell Pierce have, I think, great on-screen chemistry, and so I like it a lot.
I'll watch it.
It's very good.
Because there's not like 50 of them either. There's
you'll binge that sumbitch quick.
All right, I'll get it done.
And so get that done.
I'll get it done
by June 30th. You watch any of those shows? Ben's in there says no to all three of those fucking shows. That's what he cares. He just wants to go to St. Louis and play adult games.
He just goes.
That's all I heard him saying. I don't know what that
meant.
Plays
adult soccer.
Wow.
And that's it.
Adult games has got a different connotation out here in over in the park, so you got to be careful what you're saying. I didn't know what he meant by that. And so let's get back into now that I've got you set with things to watch. Let's get into the Succession finale. And so 2 days before the finale aired, somebody sent me the TikTok of the girls, her at least theory that
unassisted triple play.
Right, names mean something, and especially when they're kind of a rare name that a writer uses in a script. And Wamsgans is obviously a very rare name, and so she, and you can help me out with this. She said that the theory is that there was a baseball player with the last name of Wamsgans. And
Bill Wamsgans.
What World Series?
It was 1920 or something. I always remember that it was a great trivia answer. Who's the only unassisted triple play in World Series history? And it was Bill Wamsgans.
Was it Game 7?
I don't think it was Game 7, but it was.
Okay, that's right, because she said the World Series is considered the finale of baseball, and a baseball player named Wamsgans had an unassisted triple play in the World Series, which was the finale. And so the hidden Easter egg for people that cared enough to research it was they named Tom Wamsgans
on purpose
because he was going to have an unassisted triple play and wipe out Shiv, Kendall, and Rome in the finale, the
Just
World
like that.
Series, the finale of Succession, and he would end up with the crown. And I like it. I liked it because I sent it to you guys. I go, what do you think of this? And everyone was like, well,
we loved it.
We can see. Because I've gone back and forth, but I've always wanted to see Tom succeed. Because early on, I thought he was a miserable prick, but then he would always make me laugh. And he is, if you look at it honestly, who's the most like a politician or a CEO? Tom.
Oh yeah, because he was like he didn't live a life of privilege growing up, so he had to.
He's a Midwestern kid.
He was a yes man and would do anything. He'd turn his back on anyone.
But he knows
wife,
you put him in a room, he could survive.
Yeah.
He could adapt. And And listen, I had someone ask me about the harsh language we use on this podcast. I apologize, but we pull no punches. We tell you get into this. This is going to be a filthy mouth podcast. That's how it is. I'm just regurgitating what I heard on Succession. One of the lines of the year was when Shiv is telling Mattson about her own husband and saying this as a compliment as to why he should keep him on and keep him in his corporate, his
circle.
His circle is because he'd be, he's willing to suck the biggest dick in the room, and she's saying that as a compliment about.
Yeah.
I'm like, I looked at Sue like, did you say that about me? And she just looked away. But that's
what he was.
Let's just be honest. That's sometimes what it takes to climb the corporate ladder.
Yeah.
You got to be able to fluff the right,
Backer?
I don't know, whatever. What do you want to say? You got to play the game.
Yes, and he definitely played the game. I mean, listen, we need a show that's a Tom backstory. You'd watch
I'd love it.
Tom Wallman's
a prequel. Are you kidding me? And how he left the Midwest and ended up meeting Shiv?
Yes.
That would be tremendous.
A Better Call Saul, Better Call Tom.
Okay, did you find it? So what did you think of that final scene between him and Greg? I did not think it was gonna end favorably for Greg because Greg ratted on him.
He did,
and he almost blew everything up.
Who didn't Greg rat on?
Right, but he goes. What did he say? He goes, "Boy, you are one giant piece of shit." And Greg just looks down, and I'm thinking, oh, he's just gonna let him go. He goes, but you know what? I got you. And he put that sticker that they gave him to put on the whatever item from Logan's apartment they wanted. He put the sticker on his forehead. I got you.
So Greg basically is Tom.
So Greg
he's
won.
Part of the family. Greg screwed everyone over. Tom
but
did too.
He weaseled his way into a spot where he ends up on top.
The first 10 minutes of the show, when it started, is Greg throwing up out of a fucking mascot uniform.
Right.
When he's going through the little training thing. So he went from that to later that day, he had weaseled himself into the birthday party for Logan, and then just blah, 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 blah.
He's the CEO's right-hand man.
He's there. Tom screwed his wife over. He screwed his brothers-in-law over. He screwed everybody over. He did whatever he could to get to where he was. And Greg screwed everybody over to get to where he was. So they're like deserve each other. Greg is a young Tom.
You know who I didn't. Kendall is his own worst enemy. And when Shiv brings up, you killed someone. You can't be a CEO. He goes, that never happened.
Yeah.
That never happened. Like, what the fuck?
He
will literally. I understand what she said. She just finally, it's like, you know what? No, I don't think you could. I don't think you'd be good at it. And that was like the biggest arrow in his heart, right?
Right. Because
it's one thing when you're battling.
No, I'd be good.
Right. When you're battling him and you're vying for the crown, and the only reason you're not supporting him is because you want it. That's one thing, out of competition. But she just flat out said, "I don't think you'd be good at it," and that fucking murdered him because that's the only thing in the world he's ever wanted to do.
I was born to do this.
He was told at the candy shop when he was 7 years old.
By the way, that could very well be a lie too, because
you don't believe nothing he says.
We know he killed somebody.
He told we saw it, and he told them he killed someone. Oh, I just made it up. He's so full of shit. And then Rome was great when he was sitting on the table. He goes, well, you know what? We're just all bullshit. And he was right. We're all bullshit.
I've been telling you that for 2 years.
We're all bullshit.
They're all fucking bullshit.
But he at least had enough.
It took him trying to make the election go one way and then walking through the streets, getting his ass beat to realize, you know what? I'm fucking nobody special. I'm a rich guy. And now, listen, he was smiling at the end. I think he's got some relief that he's out of this shit too. Just fucking take your $2 billion or whatever and go live your life.
But here's the thing. So he ends up drinking alone because he has no connections. And you could tell that he was in love with Jerry for whatever, and he fucked that up. And so he's back where he started, alone, right? Mm-hmm. Kendall, we'll get to that in a minute. I felt bad for Shiv because they're at the end, and these are the two things that I took away from it, the finale. She has been, we watched her and we thought she's going to be different. She's a killer, right? She's not just somebody, she's not built to be just somebody's wife. She's built to be a CEO. She's built to be a mover and a shaker and a player, right? We've always, that's what she's wanted, and that's what she's been vying for. and just to fight her way out of being stereotyped and to show that she should be the successor. And even if she wasn't going to be, she's going to be successful in something. And at the fucking end, what does she end up? What does she choose? What is her plight?
Well,
she is
at this moment, she's
an unhappy wife of a CEO. The one thing that she despised, just like her mother.
Yeah, for sure. And
I think that's a reason why the mom played such a big part in that finale kind of the show, and then that's what she ended up being.
Why did she vote the way she voted? Did she vote because she wanted to help Tom? No. I think she voted because she knows her brother's a fuck up, and
she genuinely thinks he wouldn't be good at it.
And if you think back to 4 weeks ago, which was 5 days in Succession time or whatever, she wanted to sell the thing.
Right.
She's the only one who wanted to sell the thing.
She does still have power.
She wanted to fucking sell it. And she wanted to check out and be like, I'm done with this. So then when she saw it coming to this, she's like, my dumb brother will fuck this up.
Right.
And then they won't have. I mean, what if they lost half the money?
Tom will be good as long as he lasts. But how about that fucking dead fish, dead hand, holding of hands? Yeah. She's kind of late as, But he was very presidential when he was walking down the hall and talking to everyone. I fucking loved it.
But it was funny, too, because he finally got her. Because all he wanted was her approval for like years. Oh, let's do this. Let's have a kid.
He wins.
And she just keeps going, no, let's have an open marriage. And he's just fucking emasculating and all this shit. And then he gets emasculated by Mattson by saying, I think I could fuck your wife.
Right.
Basically, I could do this. I think she's into me. Let's do it. And he's like, I'll still take the job. He didn't care. He'll do whatever. So then...
Was Mattson calling him sexy or himself sexy? Because there was a debate on Twitter about that.
I think he was calling himself sexy.
Okay.
But, so at the end, Tom gets the job, and then Shiv, has to be what she doesn't want to be. So...
Right. What she's always despised.
So, but I don't think she did it for Tom. I think she did it for herself to get the money and get out. And then I think... she did it because she knows Kendall's a dipshit.
And she also has Tom's baby in her belly.
Awful to each other. And then, she's on the phone. Hey, maybe we could work this out. He goes, I don't know.
You don't think she did it for her kid, maybe?
Maybe. But her kid's fucked. She knows her kid's fucked.
God.
I mean, they're awful.
Okay, now this is my other theory.
They're awful people.
This is my other theory. I think at the end, Kendall jumped in the fucking water.
He may have.
Didn't see it.
He may have.
I think he did.
I mean, he's fallen in the water before.
And I think
he's been in the water a lot. He drove into the water.
Let me ask you this.
Fell into the water.
Right. Do you think the bodyguard jumped in after him?
Oh, Colin let him go.
He let him go?
He didn't care.
Because he was standing right there.
Yeah, but he also knows who he is, too. Remember the line, I know who you are.
He would have jumped in for Logan.
Absolutely, but Logan wouldn't have done that.
Right.
Logan's too strong.
I liked seeing the video of the dinner that Logan had with Connor, and because you never, I thought this was interesting. They never gave you any reason why the kids would be upset that their dad's dead. There's no, I mean, right?
Right.
We never saw any warmth. We never saw anything that was redeemable as far as being a loving father. But then you saw some of his, magnetism. You saw some of his charm in that little video, and all of his kids sat around with tears in their eyes because when Shiv talked about in the funeral, remember she said those rare occurrences when he would actually shine his light on you, it was just magnificent. And you could see all of them, they craved so much seeing him as a human because they got those rare glimpses. To see that, number one, I think they were all they all regretted that feud that they had with him because they weren't invited to that dinner.
Right.
And one of the rare times he was just being him. He's holding hands with his girlfriend. He's fucking telling jokes, and he's having everyone sing. You could see, this is why people would actually
he can be a human
like him. And they had tears in their eyes. Number one, because they were, that was their dad. But number two, they weren't there.
Yeah, they didn't get that.
They missed being at that dinner because of their petty grievances.
Yeah.
And Connor was there.
Listen, he knew one thing that I think he knew is like people who could get things done, and he would just give those kids things to do, and they would fuck them up all the time. I mean, Kendall fucked up all the deals, every deal.
You're not serious people.
And Roman would fuck up movies.
He summed it up right there. Remember, you're not serious people.
Not serious people, and they weren't. But they just and in the end, they all still will get like $2 billion a piece. Or
do you think that if Mencken loses the election, which I think having Shiv say that about problems in Wisconsin, I think that they're
he's not going to win.
How long does Willa stay with Connor if that thing blows up?
She loves him.
No, she doesn't.
What do you mean?
She fucking doesn't. She couldn't wait for him to fucking leave and go overseas. And then when Shiv goes, oh, looks like you might be able to keep them all to yourself. She's like, oh, fuck. And did you like her plans? What was it? The zebra print sofa she's bringing in to the classical. The
$60 million apartment.
Right.
It is. The thing is, like, in the end, we've talked about this before. The story is about a dysfunctional family. And you can be a dysfunctional family of billionaires, or you can be a dysfunctional family of just folks.
You know what it is? It's the serious version of the Righteous Gemstones. What's the Righteous Gemstones?
Yeah, basically.
Huh?
You got a dad who built it, and these fucked up families.
And all three of the kids are trying to prove who deserves to take over, right?
Yep.
And you got John Goodman, he just looks around.
They all disappointing.
Fucking kids, right? One right after another. Because it's the comedic version of Succession.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of comedy in Succession.
There was plenty. Yeah.
And there was enough, and there's sometimes there's serious moments in the Righteous Gemstones. So I'm glad this is starting up June 18th right after Succession's over.
I was happy with the finale. I thought they wrapped it up well. Wrapping up a TV show is hard. It's very difficult. Mm-hmm. Wrapping up one that a lot of people pay attention to and a lot of people talk about is difficult as well. And there's all these people with theories and all this shit out there.
It was great.
About why they do it. So they had built up plenty of interest and buzz around. It's hard to do, and I thought they did a good job because they didn't tie it all up. I mean, they tied up this part, but you could think on your own, well, what's Kendall going to do? What's Roman going to do? What's Shiv going to do? They gave you enough of it. I listened to this podcast with the showrunner, this Jesse Armstrong, talking about it, and they had kind of felt like they maybe could do. I mean, they could have done 10 more years of this. I mean, the characters are great. You could always find something to do. But they just felt like it was time.
I need a movie in a couple of years.
It very well could have been a season finale. And it just felt like that, too. Like, what's going to happen next? That's how their seasons ended. Kendall with a press conference trying to blow the thing up, right? Or whatever. And this thing had just happened. They could have done another season. But I'm good with them doing it this way. I do think there are certainly shows out there to be had. I mean, I was joking about Tom's origin story, but an origin story of these kids'
wouldn't that be
lives
good?
would be. No, I was joking like the thing is going to happen.
Oh.
But it would be great. I would watch it. I would watch a pre-Succession when these kids were fucking teenagers.
Did you?
And you wouldn't need the same cast then. You could have different people do it.
I liked it. Was because you don't get very many of these. I thought it was a rare, tender moment when you had all three of them in the kitchen at their mom's house. A meal fit for a king, and they were putting all that shit in the
10
blender.
minutes of fun.
And that fucking the special cheese. When Rome licked that cheese up and down.
Yeah, but so they had a shared experience of being miserable all together, and they could come together. They always came together when they were trying to fuck someone over. They came together to buy the Pierce thing,
and they had a mom that never wanted them.
They came together when it was like, all right, they were so separated that Roman was like strung out, living down there or going on the vacation with his mom, and then they both came independently down there, and then Shiv realizes she's getting fucked over by Mattson and is all right, let's go back together. Because you felt like together they were stronger, but they still weren't strong enough together to stay together.
And could you tell how the mom still treats Rome like a little boy?
Yeah.
And so somebody pointed out, and they actually showed it, that the outfit he was wearing at the mom's house was children's clothing.
Oh, it looked like kids' clothes.
Like from Amazon or whatever. Yes.
Yes.
And so it's the
probably $700 shirt.
No, it was kids' clothing, and they showed speculation was he either just put something on that he left there that his mom still had,
right?
Or when he got there and needed a change of clothes, she just had one of the servers go out and buy him kids' clothes or whatever, because that's how she viewed him.
Yeah,
she's just what a weird fucking woman that was, right?
Oh, she was crazy.
And so the other thing I wanted to have you seen the compilation on Twitter? I think it was on TikTok originally, of every fuck off from Logan Roy throughout every season.
Yeah, it was great.
And you would talk about great acting. He said "fuck off"
in 20
all
different
these.
Ways.
You like "fuck off," "fuck off," "fuck off,"
yeah,
"fuck off."
He had them all.
"Fuck off." I mean, you could look at it right. "Fuck off," and just like mad or like. Yeah. I've never seen someone get more out of two words.
He could do it all. It was. I enjoyed the show. It was a great show, and I'm glad I watched it from the beginning. I remember watching the first one when I was on. I was like it's typical of this fashion. My wife would not stay up, past 8 on a Sunday. So
why not?
I watched the first season, and then like the next year, I'm like, well, I'm going to watch the show. And she goes, well, I want to watch a show. So then I rewatched the first season with her and caught her. And then she liked it. But then my rule was you have to be able to stay awake till 9 o'clock on Sundays because we're watching this. I'm not watching this at 5 o'clock on Monday. I'm watching this on Sunday night.
Right.
That's what I miss about a lot of shows is they don't.
Appointment television.
It's appointment television. They still do it with HBO shows. They do it with some of these, the Hulu shows.
The reason it was important for Succession is because, like, say with our jobs, right? You can't stay off Twitter on Sunday night, Monday morning because we use Twitter a lot for research and show prep, and it's real hard when you got a show as successful as Succession where everyone's watching on Sunday night to find out or to not find out what happened or to not, get any spoilers.
Yeah, just something of what's going on.
Because I was fucked because the Sunday night of the finale, Richie played at Purple Jam, the Prince tribute at Knuckleheads, right? So I'm going to watch that, of course. My son's up there playing. I love Prince. And so then, and Marco was with me for a while down there. And it got to be like 8 o'clock. And I said, don't fucking look at Twitter and don't tell me nothing. And fucking Chad
called you or texted you?
Text me, but it's all caps. Here, I'll tell you exactly what he did. But you know what? You can't control your eyes sometimes.
Right.
And a quick glance could fuck the whole thing. And so it was it was right in that 9 o'clock to 9:30, and I made the mistake of looking down because first of all, Chad texts, I gotta look,
boss man.
But then it was so my phone shows a little preview, it doesn't show the whole text, and it says in all caps, "Don't read unless you have already watched." And then I saw your girl, and so I knew it was about Shiv, but that. And then Marco, don't you look at your phone. And the pressure was so great for Marco, he had to leave. He had to leave in the middle of Purple Jam to get out of there to watch it.
And or does pressure bust pipes?
And so we were staying at the President Hotel in downtown Kansas City, Missouri. We were trying to make a little, Memorial Day weekend.
It was a time.
And so me and Sue go back to the hotel. And
the good news is it didn't have a show on Monday.
And Selena was there, and so I get back, and I'm thinking, I wonder if they're going to replay it because I know they have HBO. And I look, and they replayed it at 1:20 in the morning.
You watched it at 1:20 in the morning?
And so I started watching it at 1:20, but then it was like an hour and a half.
Oh, yeah.
And I go, oh, fuck, I can't do it. And so I watched the first half. And so then, again, no Twitter. Thank goodness I didn't have a show, like you said, on Monday morning. And then we get home, we get unpacked. I said, sit down, we got to sit down. Well, the dogs, I said, fuck those dogs. Okay,
go time.
This is go time, and we sat down and watched it. And then I was able to.
There was a basketball game. It was a game 7 that night. It might have been the Heat in Boston. So that was going on, and Succession, and then Barry, all this shit. So
I couldn't fucking do anything.
But I didn't have to get up either.
Right.
They saw it was good. Denise stayed up till 9:30.
Okay.
And she was done, and then I did the rest of it, so it was all good.
It's done, and we've had a chance to digest it. It's been over a week. And so now people are speculating and wondering, where does this rank amongst the greatest TV shows that we've seen?
Like HBO shows?
Well, don't fucking say like Andy Griffith or something recently that we've seen, right?
Dramatic shows.
Right, dramatic shows.
Not Seinfeld.
And so the nominees, the most often mentioned, of course, are The Sopranos, The Wire, Breaking Bad, now Succession. Like, what else is in the mix? Game of Thrones. What else is in the mix for you? What else would be even in the conversation? Others receiving votes for a top 5 or even number 1.
Well, it's a show you haven't watched. Of these hour-long dramatic shows. You never did watch Sons of Anarchy?
No.
My friends, we all
want to watch
Sons
that.
of Anarchy.
Yes.
It's not quite there, but it's got some great stuff in it and great characters. We really enjoyed that when it was on. That was definitely one. Obviously Breaking Bad.
I feel like you want that to be number 1.
I love Breaking Bad. I think it started great, and I think the finale was outstanding. People bitched about the Game of Thrones finale, right? And people got confused by the Sopranos finale. I loved it.
The Sopranos finale, Tony Soprano got fucking whacked by the guy in the members-only jacket.
They didn't tell anyone for 15 years. I still got friends who think he didn't get shot.
Then your friend's fucking wrong.
I know.
David Chase has admitted it. And if you go back and watch this, because I'll be honest with you, I'll never forget this. I'm watching this with Susan and my cousin Tony. May he rest in peace. It fucking happens, and they go to black.
Oh, you think the fucking TV's broken?
And I jump up. I go, what the fuck? What happened? I thought someone hit the remote control. Yeah. And I was ready to fucking fire, spit fucking fire. Like, what the fuck? And so then, as soon as it happens, then the phone rings to my dad. And my dad's like, God damn it, the phone, what happened? The cable went out. I go, the cable's out everywhere. And I'm looking at it, but it wasn't. No. So that number one, that was great.
Because it was a long, like.
There has never.
They didn't throw credits up in like 2 seconds.
Dude.
It was plenty. I was in the basement watching that because my kids were too little. And it was like, it's Sunday night. Daddy's watching this. You guys, get away from me. I was down, and I hollered like that. I'm like,
I don't get the tension in that scene. When Meadows trying to parallel
park.
There's
still so much tension. If you go back and watch it now. I just
I know. I'm like,
rewatched
fuck, I don't know what to do. I thought they were going to kill Meadow and he was going to see it. And and she's trying to, park that fucking car. What's wrong with you? And so then you go back and watch it. It's so clear that the guy and the members, and there was some, I'm not going to get into this. There were some Easter eggs and things that pointed to, members only jacket, I'm a big part of it. And Bobby Bacala Jr., remember, we're in the boat earlier in the season. Said like, is that's probably how it happens. You never see it coming and everything goes black or whatever, leading to that. But the guy in the fucking members only jacket looks at him and then goes in the bathroom, comes back out, and he fucking popped him. And Tony Soprano
gets from behind. Yeah,
he looks up because you don't hear the door chime. Because and that's it.
Yeah,
because you're looking at a point of view from Tony. It went black. That's what happened. And I don't know who your friend is that thinks something else. What do they think happened?
Well, people.
He got whacked out.
I thought it was a great way to do it. So I love that show. It was great. I thought The Wire was awesome. I love The Wire. It had maybe some hits and misses throughout the thing. But when I try to judge these things, you have to kind of have, did it end right?
Is Succession better than The Sopranos?
No.
No. Is Succession better than The Wire?
No.
Okay. Is Succession better than Breaking Bad?
No.
Is Succession better than Game of Thrones?
No, I don't think so. I put Succession in my top 10 favorite shows.
It's one of the best ever.
5 to 10.
See, like for me, and I'm unfair about it. I don't care. Nothing can ever like The Sopranos is number one and it's cemented there. Leave it the fuck alone. Don't touch it.
What if another show comes out that's better?
No.
You need to open your fucking mind.
Will it be James Gandolfini? No, because he's no longer with us. No.
Did you like the Many Saints of Newark?
No.
Because James Gandolfini.
Although I tried to argue. No, his son was though. I tried to argue for that, but I've now come to my senses and I realized that was a piece of shit.
It's hard to do shows. I mean, it is, and it's hard to repeat. Like, David Chase, the guy who did The Wire. I mean, I don't think he's crushed it again since then. You know what I mean? And it's like the guys who did Breaking Bad, they've tried. Better Call Saul is great. It's not Breaking Bad. And they had a network TV show for a while after that. It's just hard to get lightning in a bottle again and do it the right way. And what I like about The Sopranos, I think it went about the right amount of time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It didn't need to go fucking more years. After a while, you just got to finally end some things. You don't need 38 out fucking seasons of Law and Order or whatever.
What was the most tense moment? Okay, I'm going to give you 3 choices. And don't just fucking automatically say Breaking Bad because you want it to be number one. Because every answer, Breaking Bad. So just fucking be open-minded.
I'm being open-minded.
I'm going to give you 3
choices.
Scenes.
Yep.
The scene in the diner where Meadows parking and Tony's fucking, and we know something's going to.
7 minutes of this.
And like, you're looking at the clock. Like, there's only 7 minutes left of this episode. Something's going to fucking happen here. That.
Yes.
Okay. The scene where Walt is handcuffed in the car and he's watching, well, ultimately what happens to Hank, right? That shootout and everything, and that's right. That ends with Hank's demise, right?
This is not a spoiler. This show's been 10 years.
Fucking shit. Or Game of Thrones, when the Night King,
when Arya
getting that fucking sword. Well, first when they send what's his fucking name? The guy had the balls cut off.
Theon Greyjoy.
Remember he runs. By the way, what the fuck? Like, what was he gonna do?
He
ran with a spearman and he's ran at him.
He charged the fucking beach at Omaha Beach, man. He's going. They don't all make it, Steven.
He didn't have a fucking plan, though.
Well, Sometimes
How about
you just
throw
go.
do something? He just ran right at him. It's like, look, it's 4th and 24. Don't run the ball up the middle. Let's do something a little creative.
Jimmy Ray.
Little
Let's run the
razzle
screen.
A fucking razzle dazzle. And yes, because I know he was buoyed by the fact that he's because you're a good
Maybe
man.
He'd gotten a shot of testosterone.
So then
somehow.
no, I don't see how. I'm telling you, he didn't get that. But just do something creative. You know what? Do a fucking cartwheel.
Well, here's what I didn't see coming.
Do something. No, listen. So then when he's and so that those moments, it's not like forever, that the fucking Night King's getting ready to fucking get Bran, and all of a sudden you see the fucking White Walkers or whatever, and the fucking wind blows, and you're thinking, what's this? And Arya comes in, and fucking he gets her by the fucking throat, and then she does that little trick with the dagger, boom, right in the stomach. What was the most dramatic, intense scene out of the three that I just described?
Sopranos end probably, because, well, maybe the Game of Thrones, because I did not think that was going to happen. I did not.
They got me on that one.
They did not. I'm pretty sure someone was getting killed in some way at the end of Sopranos.
That
You knew the show's over. It's not just going to end with, oh, these onion rings are fucking great. So that was great tension with the editing.
Best in New Jersey.
And the music, all that kind of stuff. They're very close, though. That's a good triumvirate to talk about.
Ben, have you seen all three of those moments? What was the most tension-filled and dramatic moment of those three?
I'll tell you what.
What's he say? Sopranos. The Sopranos, yes, for me, but it's close.
The other one too, like on the Breaking Bad, I don't think there's a score going or whatever, but I don't remember the music for that. The music on the fucking Night King thing,
fantastic,
was incredible,
fantastic.
And then
right.
Don't Stop Believing is obviously it's a song that's in people's heads, and you get that part going there, and it just don't stop.
You know what was great in the Succession is the fucking music.
Oh,
that music kind of reminded me of the Game of Thrones, and now they release the soundtrack on Spotify.
And you just drive
and
around.
the all different versions. I just fucking drive around.
Will you make a home movie like that with your kids and just stand them in front of porches and things like that?
And I'm going to fucking rent an elephant and have them fucking ride on it because it's fun.
You probably would.
Every time Susan gets so mad at all the little idiosyncrasies I have, my OCD. Every fucking time that we watch the intro,
you don't hit skip intro.
No, we watch. There's certain if you don't watch the Sopranos intro whenever you watch a real one, then I don't fucking have no use for you in my life. All right? Same thing, Game of Thrones. You watch that whole fucking thing.
I would skip the Game of Thrones.
Oh, that's bullshit, okay? You watch.
Skip.
You got to watch Succession because it's a great song, and every time that little scene when he goes, I don't know why. I see my when he's waving his hands like he's showing you I've had enough of this shit.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
I do. You know what I need to do? I have a new TV since the Game of Thrones one. Yeah. And that show was so
that'll help.
Literally dark, and so I need to watch that.
Go watch the Battle of the Bastards.
And that's a bright scene though. But
let's go watch it anyway.
The stuff at the end with Arya, that was fucking dark as hell.
Yeah.
I need to watch that with my new TV in a dark room. And just
this is a way for you to brag about your fucking new TV. What did you get? Yeah. Tell us. Give us the lowdown. What did you get?
I have an OLED TV now. It's not some
what size?
95-inch. It's like a 55. I don't have a room where I need that where I watch TV. But generally, when we watch shows up there, we have the light on over our fireplace and this other lights. We need to shut them all down and watch that shit at night, like when it's already dark outside.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there was lots of parts of Game of Thrones that were dark. Battle of Bastards, daylight. I love a good daytime war.
Right.
That was good. Like the one where what's the one where the fucking war at the boats and the ships and the fucking firewater. That fucking thing was dark. That was hard to watch. But Battle of Bastards, daytime, baby.
No, I thought to see more crystal clear so you can see all the blood and guts.
I like all that. Yeah.
Right.
The sound on all these is great. But the music, the way they use the score.
Why don't you answer the question that fucking led to this?
I said I was most surprised.
No, just like most dramatic, like most tense. You were tense, like oh.
I would put Sopranos and Game of Thrones, the tension, the same. They're exactly like the same. The Breaking Bad one, the way it ended, the tension when the fucking guys show up at the guns and then they shoot for like 5 seconds, and then the fucking thing's over, and then you got to wait till next week. Now you just waited 4 seconds.
Right.
Went straight to the next one.
Right to it. I did it the smart way.
The smart way when Hank's fucking like down in the back seat and his fucking glasses are falling off.
He's screaming, but that's
over.
tense.
Then you got to wait.
Yeah.
A whole fucking week.
I experienced it differently than you.
You did, because you refused to watch the show like you're supposed to. But I'm going to watch Jack Ryan now for you.
You'll like it, But the whole time you'd be criticizing him because he's in the fucking office. Yes.
Okay.
And it's right, and I thoroughly enjoy it.
You were sour and you wouldn't watch that either.
Because people fucking just would say, "Oh, it's better than The Sopranos."
I don't want to hear that bullshit.
And I'll be honest with you, I was afraid that it was better than The Sopranos, and guess what? It wasn't. It's
quite
great.
No, there were some good parts of it. I mean, there were some amazing parts to it, but it was not better than Sopranos.
Shit. But that's and so why Wendell Pierce has a great track record. You won't give him any credit for Jack Ryan.
Mayor Peter Carcetti was Littlefinger in Game of Thrones.
Look, okay,
all these guys end up on all these shows.
Something now. You have just hit on something. This fucking guy is great.
Yes.
Aiden,
whatever his name is.
He's
Irish.
No. Hey, look it up. Come on, because you got to give him credit. Because what was he in? He was Littlefinger. He was in fucking Peaky Blinders.
Yes.
You ever watch Peaky Blinders?
I've seen lots of it.
He was great in Peaky Blinders, and now he's the villain in but you don't fucking like it with Mayor of Kingstown.
I've watched some of that.
But he's in that too. He's in like 4 of my favorite shows.
He's in all the shows.
Okay. Aiden Gillen.
It's just a good thing he wasn't in Malcolm in the Middle. You'd never fucking watch him.
But I think I've said this on the podcast before. This is why he's so underrated. One of the greatest openings to any movie, in my opinion. You want to talk about tension and everything else? And I'm sorry, I'm not fucking Shane Summers or Jason Justice with my comics, so I don't fucking know all the titles and everything. What's the Batman with Bane?
Whatever that one.
I know. What the fuck is the Batman with Bane?
Dark Knight.
Is it?
Yeah, I think.
Is that some Returns or something? All I know is the Batman with Bane.
The Dark Knight Rises.
Dark Knight Rises. Bane is the best villain. I'm not going to get in an argument with fucking Shane who comes in here and says something or whatever. Remember the opening of that movie on the plane? Come in. Just shut up. And he's going to come in here. Bane is the best villain of anything I've seen, except for the original General Zod, played by Terrence Stamp. Okay, and the best scene there is when he, fucking Superman fucked him up and had that shit going on outside where Superman was safe in the chamber, and fucking Gene Hackman playing Lex Luthor didn't figure it out either. And then when he goes over there and takes his hand, and remember he goes, "At long last now, kneel before Zod." And I remember being at Blue Ridge East in that fucking movie theater when Superman gave him his hand, and then Superman fucking squeezed in. You could hear the bones crunching, and General Zod goes, "Oh." And Superman fucking picks him up and throws him up against the ice and falls down, and then Ugg or whatever goes, "Oh," and he falls down, and then Lois Lane, played by Margot Kidder, turns around and goes, "You know what? You're a real pain in the neck." And bam, and punches the bitch out, and then it's over, right? And so
other than that, it's Bane.
Other than that, it's Bane.
What's that show called, Marco?
What's the Batman with
Dark
Bane?
Dark Knight Rises?
I don't pay Dark Knight Rises. So the intro to that is one of the greatest intros to any movie I've ever seen. Dude, it was fantastic.
The Dark Knight intro is one of the greatest. Is one, if not the
Marco,
greatest.
come over here to this microphone.
This is called microphones.
Talk on the microphones.
You should start in radio sometime.
Don't stand in front of the camera.
That's a camera that you're standing in front of. Right, this is a microphone you're talking to. Okay.
Right. Let me tell you something.
You don't like the plane scene.
I think
with
the plane
fucking
scene's
Bane.
great.
But my point was
the heist scene in Dark Knight, though.
Fine, I like the plane scene. But my point is, do you realize when Bane? What's the dialogue? When the guy's talking to Bane.
You didn't know me before the match.
Right. Yeah. He goes,
"I'd fuck me." The different movie?
No, that's fucking sounds like "I'd fuck me." No, that's Jamie Gum.
James Gum.
Who was trying to fashion a suit made of skin. But no, listen to me. Was he not?
I saw
he not
Dark
trying to
Knight Rises in the movie theater, and it was great.
No, but
Peter Carcetti.
Right, but when he says it would be extremely painful for you, he's talking to Littlefinger.
Right.
I didn't know that at the time that I'm watching this fucking movie. Because anytime that's on,
there goes Batman.
Anytime, and I don't want either one of you to fucking come in here and make fun of me. I just know Batman Bane. That's okay.
Shane's always been more of a
I watch
Riddler
that
guy.
like whenever it's on, or sometimes guess what? I just go on fucking YouTube and just watch the opening because I love it. And then one day, because I'm a dumbass and it takes me to watch something 40 times, I go,
"Hey,
wait a minute."
I know that
Wait
guy.
a minute, is that fucking Littlefinger? Like, oh, it's Littlefinger. What the fuck's going on here? He's an
everywhere.
underappreciated actor.
Well,
I need to watch all that Peaky Blinders. I've watched like 2 years of it.
Why wouldn't you watch Peaky Blinders?
Well, I've watched it.
I'll
But
put Peaky Blinders in the top 10 right now.
you let me know when you get 2
Did
years
you watch
in.
Peaky Blinders?
No, but my brothers and my dad have been all over me about
Peaky
it.
Blinders also, what's great, some people don't like it, but they play current music to that. And like sometimes White Stripes, or all of a sudden you be watching Peaky Blinders, and then fucking Jack White starts fucking playing. Like, what the fuck? There's a Jack White in here. In 1922. I'm done.
That sounds like an editing mistake.
Well, it's
No,
not.
it's
It's
just
fucking great.
It's for stylistic.
It's exactly right. Finish and say whatever you're going to say.
Well, I was saying I like
goes,
all three of those options
you don't like
gave
Bane.
me.
I like Bane.
He likes
Tom
Bane.
And guess what? Guess who's in Peaky Blinders? Tom Hardy, who's also Bane, so fuck you.
Bang. I was most surprised
I'm passionate
by
about
the death
these things,
of the
people.
Night King. I love the end of the Sopranos. I think the comparison to the scene in Breaking Bad is a little unfair because it kind of goes over 2 episodes. But
for me, that's what.
it was great.
But weren't you tense when he was like
absolutely.
screaming?
When those guys showed up, it was a different kind of tension because there was about 1,000 fucking shells fired. You know, it was one shot to Tony's head. It was one stab to the Night King, and this was a hail of fucking bullets.
Right.
When the next one opens and he actually fucking shoots Hank, I mean, that's like
Anticlimactic.
wow, tough though. And that's, I think, Walt knew he fucked things up. He was the same kind of thing. You think you're doing things right, and then all of a sudden you get too far into it, and he'd fuck this thing up, and he tried to tell those guys not to show up.
He was a bastard.
If the show would have been a lot different had they not shown up, right? But they needed to show up to get the rest of the story out, and because Hank had to die, the whole thing.
Now I
We're
can hold
gonna
this over on you.
dedicate-
I'm angry at you because you won't watch Peaky Blinders.
I've watched a lot of it.
Not enough.
I'm going to watch more.
You watch all of it. You don't know how it's fucking ended.
They're
making a movie.
Are they?
It's going to be out like in a year or two, but you got to fucking watch this.
I'll watch it. I heard in the works, maybe it was going to be the Walt Jr. story. 3 more years.
I won't fucking ever watch that. I won't watch a fucking second of that.
Skyler returns.
I could stomach Walt Jr. I could stomach him.
Skyler.
Fucking Skyler. I won't. And that actress, I'm sure she did a great job. If I see her on screen, I won't watch it. I won't fucking watch nothing with her.
It's going to be Skyler.
She made me so mad.
It's called Sisters.
I fucking hate it.
Skyler and Marie.
I fucking hate it. I'll be honest with you. The only thing that made me happy about Hank dying was he didn't have to be with his fucking wife anymore. Then he could fucking be away from her.
It's time to turn this off.
It is time to turn it off.
It's time to turn this off.
Okay, but those are the worst
getting
sisters
dark.
in the fucking world. I could promise you that right now.
Yeah, there's probably worse.
I don't think so. I'm not sure. But on that note,
Brady Bunch.
see,
I'm
things.
kidding.
What the fuck does that mean?
It's a joke. I was
But
thinking.
what does that even mean?
One
What
day-
are
one
you
day-
like? What are you insinuating?
How about One Day at a Time? The worst
Day at-
sisters in the world.
what the-
Valerie
why?
Bertinelli and Mackenzie Phillips. They were awful people.
Mackenzie Phillips battled drug abuse and came out on the other end.
Good
So
for
you
her.
fucll don't criticize her. We will take it. We'll
Take a break? We're gonna take a break?
Take a long fucking break,
This
like a
ain't the
week.
fucking radio, bro.
Well, Marco came in here, a professional, stood in front of the camera and just started talking to the wind.
It's a no microphone.
All right. This has been a
He's
very
running your
bizarre. This has fucking been a very bizarre
It's been very bizarre.
episode of Hot Mic with SSJ. So thank you for listening, and until next week, the microphone is off.